All right, thanks everybody. Thanks for making this work. Apologize for having to reschedule this from early in the week. Been a good week so far. I think our team handled the bye week well, and I've had a great week of practice. Excited for this last closing stretch, and obviously the opportunity to get back on the road, go play a very good, very impressive Baylor team that's continued to get better, and obviously playing at a high level, doing a great job. So there'll be a fun challenge, as it should be this time of year, and our team's very much looking forward to getting down to Waco and playing.
All right, thank you, Coach. We'll go to questions. We'll start with Ryan Aber.
Yeah, Lincoln, appreciate you doing this. First of all, just wanted to ask you about the Tuesday absences from the press conference and the coaches show. Obviously, a lot of speculation and things like that with everything that's going on. Just want to give you a chance to shed some light on that.
Yeah, it's a personal matter. Had nothing to do with my job, football, anything like that. Personal matter that was dealing with and dealt with it. Didn't take away from any of our preparation here, thankfully, and back to normal now.
Appreciate it. Also wanted to ask you about that 2019 game down in Waco. Nick Benito's plays there at the end, especially. How big of a jumping off point was that for him, in what he became pretty quickly after that? And just what's your assessment of where he is right now?
Yeah, I think it gave him a lot of confidence, to go make those plays in that arena. It was a big time game, and obviously a great atmosphere, and the greatest comeback in OU football history. So it was pretty special, and I think for him, he was at that point a young guy that had earned the opportunity to play a little bit, was still in a lot of ways a role player, and was kind of in the middle of kind of making that jump from going to being a guy that played a few snaps here and there to being a very regular player defensively, and a guy that was really evolving and becoming a more complete player. So I do think it gave him a lot of confidence going forward, and was anytime a young guy can make some big plays in a game like that, it can definitely be a springboard. I think he's continued to progress and grow throughout his career. I know we talked about it a lot at media days here this summer. Done a good job for us this year. It's been good to get a chance to get him kind of back healthy a little bit. Hadn't been completely healthy the last couple of weeks, so been good to let him work and kind of get his body back to where we expect it to be. And this is that time of year where you expect your veteran guys and some of your best players to be at the very best, and so that's certainly what we expect out of Nick here going forward.
Appreciate it, Lincoln. Have a good one.
Thanks.
Eric Bailey.
Lincoln, we're about a month from recruiting, and I want to ask about one of your assistants. When you look at someone like Calvin Thibodeaux, who's recruited at a junior college, at an Ivy League school like Dartmouth, small private school like Tulsa, how much has his journey really helped his recruiting prowess and what the job he's done at Oklahoma?
Yeah, no, I think it has. Tibbs has worn a lot of different hats in his career, and I think all those places have probably shaped, what he's like professionally. I think he's really, grown a lot through those years, and I would say, in my opinion, even grown a lot in his time here. And the thing about him, he's very genuine, and I think the recruits, families, I think people see that. He works hard at it. He knows how important it is, and I think there's the added benefit of just his I think desire to make this D line as good as it possibly can be. And he's obviously done a great job bringing in some really top-notch players. He and Coach Kane have really worked well together in the last couple of years when we restructured the staff the way we did. And but I've been proud of his growth as a coach and as a recruiter, and I think we've certainly seen some of the dividends of that.
Thank you, Lincoln. Appreciate it.
Jason Kersey.
Yeah, Lincoln, that kind of transitions nicely into what I wanted to ask you about, which was the defensive line. How do you feel like that group has played this year generally, and how have you seen that group evolve in the last couple of years as the recruiting has evolved like that?
Oh, that group, I mean, as a whole, a little bit like our team, like our defense, like our offense. We've had some moments of just sheer dominance. We've had some moments where I didn't think we were as impactful as we could have been. No, I think we've been good. I think our expectation, here at the end of the year is that we need to be elite the rest of the way. Great D-line play always is a differentiating factor in games, but I think especially this time of year, it matters so much. And so, we've got high expectations for them. I think we've had, like every group, we've had our ups and downs, and our expectation level for them is probably as high as any group on the football team right now. When they've been good, we need them to be great because they have that in them, and they can be that as a unit. So, and I think for us, one of the beauties is the depth, but you need that depth to be productive. You need it to be productive depth. And when we've been in our best, it's not just one or two guys here and there. It's a large number of guys coming in there making plays. We've made a big deal about the fresh bodies, having guys in. We're not having to play a whole lot of snaps, but you got to see the dividends of that. If you got a guy that maybe he's only getting 15 or 20 snaps a game, I mean, those have got to be unbelievable snaps to make it worth it. So, and when we've been at our best this year and other years, that's what we've had. So, we'll need that here in the closing stretch. It's why we've worked so hard to build what we felt like was going to be a formidable front, and obviously it'll be a big key here, here against Baylor and the rest of the way through.
Offers Billo?
Lincoln, transfer portal recruiting is different anyway, but what was the Mike Woods recruitment like? Did you know anything about him dating back to his high school days in Texas, or was it like a 1-week cram session where just everything came together, and is he ready to return Saturday?
Yeah, it happened quick. Remembered the name coming out, but honestly didn't know a ton about him coming out. When he got in the portal, obviously, we were able to see some of the things that he did at the previous institution, and did, was kind of one of those scenarios where it kind of seemed like the perfect fit, the right kind of guy that we felt like could come in here and make an impact. And it was in a room where we had lost some guys and obviously needed to replenish a little bit. And it's been good so far. I hated not having him here the last couple games. He's been able to get a little bit of work this week, and if he continues to progress, I would expect for him to be available on Saturday.
Jesse Crittenden.
Hey, Lincoln, I appreciate your time today. Just wanted to ask you, obviously you guys have had some close games in Waco in recent years, and so I was just curious, what is it about Waco that makes it kind of a tough place to play, and do you expect there to be something extra with this matchup, with you guys being near the top of the Big 12 and having kind of that recent history of close games?
I mean, they've done a great job there. I mean, they've had several good teams, this being one of them, over the last several years. They've done a great job with that stadium. It's not the biggest capacity that we're going to play in front of, but they've done the atmosphere that's been created by the stadium, by their fans, their administration in there is fantastic. It's a fun place to play. And we've just had some, very competitive games. I mean, we've had, a couple of them have been against some of the, better Baylor teams over the last several years. Road football is always tough, and will there be something extra? I don't know. I think there's something extra anytime we go on the road, to play somebody. I mean, that's just the nature of the position we're in. So we expect it. We look forward to it, and know it'll be a big challenge.
Appreciate it, Lincoln.
Mm-hmm.
John Hoover.
There I am. Okay. Hey, Lincoln. Take you back to Monday. You sounded genuinely pleased when you found out that Joey McGuire was going to be the new coach at Texas Tech. He's obviously a guy, I think, that's plugged into the high school culture in the state of Texas. And it sounds like a lot of people are rooting for him to have some success. It's your alma mater, so I'm hoping maybe you can expound on your thoughts on Joey and and maybe what kind of awkward that's going to be when those two staffs at Baylor and Tech meet on November 27th.
Yeah, I'm not glad. I'm glad I'm not in the middle of that. It will be awkward. No, I'm happy for Joey, man. I've known him as obviously coached down at Cedar Hill for years, and I've been through their recruiting as players. And I always thought he did a tremendous job with that program. Watching their off season and the way their kids worked and played. I could tell. He really did a great job with the culture, with the programming. Just the kind of atmosphere around that program was really, really good during his time there. So. And he's just he's an easy guy to like, man. He's personable, can talk to anyone. No surprise that players would play hard for him, or that he could go lead a program and do it very well. Not a surprise at all. So I'm happy for him. I'm glad it's nice to be somebody you know personally and that you enjoy being around. He's a good friend, and I'm really. Not a lot of high school coaches get that opportunity, and honestly, probably more should. There's plenty of elite high school coaches out there, so I think it's a great thing, and I'm happy to see him at Tech at my alma mater.
All right, appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
James Hale.
Lincoln, listening to you over the years, it always seems like it's really important that you guys control the nose tackle. This guy weighs 350 pounds. That you'll be going against Saturday, and he's a pretty good player. Their defensive front and how they play defense. Kind of talk about the battle that you're going to have with that guy and the Baylor defense, and what you think about how they play the game on that side of the ball.
Yeah, no, he certainly changed some things for him. I mean, he's a tremendous player. Transfer came in, has done an outstanding job, and one of those just huge bodies that's not easy to move, and really doesn't always show up. Great interior players don't always show up in the stat line all the time, but you feel their impact. He's certainly one of those players. And they got a tremendous defense. Guys are playing at a high level. A couple new faces up front, but the linebackers and back end are same guys that we've played against here for a couple of years now, and very, very good football players. I think the Petrie kid is one of the best players in the country. There's no question, and obviously he's got a lot of other really good ones around him. So, talented group. They play hard. They got a good scheme. It's a good group. I mean, it's one of those challenges you look forward to.
Thanks, Lincoln. Good luck.
Thank you.
Okay, let's go to Justin Martinez.
Hey, Lincoln. Hope you're doing well. Appreciate talking to us today. I just want to ask you about Eric Gray. I know kind of entering the season, it was going to be like a 1A, 1B sort of thing with him and Kennedy Brooks, but Kennedy's kind of run away with things lately, no pun intended. But just what have you seen out of Eric lately in terms of how he's handling, maybe not getting as many touches lately?
Eric's been great. He's been a team guy, and it's just the nature of these things. Sometimes a bunch come your way, and sometimes they don't. As an offensive skill player, it's just a little bit of the nature of it. And Kennedy's gotten, this kind of middle part of the season started to get pretty hot. And we rode him a little bit more than we did Eric at times. But Eric's been still a huge part of our team, huge part of our offense. He's still a guy that we want to get the ball in his hands more because he is a dynamic player. And so he's improving. He's practicing his tail off behind the scenes, and we certainly plan on using him here a bunch.
Appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
Parker Thune.
Yeah, Coach, appreciate your time. Obviously, we see accolade after accolade rolling in for Caleb Williams here day after day, but you guys are heading into a stretch where you're going to face what is statistically the three best defenses you've seen all year. So how adequately do you feel like Caleb's prepared for that challenge, and what have you seen from him that gives you some encouragement that he's going to be able to take that challenge head on?
I think he's just trying to improve, and we're just trying to improve and get him more comfortable with running our system. I mean, our belief is if we run our system at a high level, then you don't get as concerned with the guys on the other sideline. We get that we're going to play some good defenses coming up, but we're pretty good offense too. And when we play to our standard and when we're playing at a high level, we've got a group that can be tough to stop. So that's been a little bit more of our focus overall, and our focus with him is just continuing to get better at us, try to understand some of the different challenges you're going to face every week. But more, again, more for us is, be better at running OU's offense and be better at doing your job. And I think if he can continue to do that with these new challenges, new things schematically that he'll see going forward, he'll continue to improve. But he's a good player. So, I mean, he's, like I said, there's some defenses that are going to do some things that give you trouble and you've got to work through. But he's going to give some people some trouble too.
Appreciate it, Coach.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go to Dean Blevins.
Yeah, Lincoln, glad things are well with you. Curious about in the secondary, a couple of questions actually. One is Billy Bowman and where he will actually play, and will he get maybe more reps than he did the last time? And then also, Coach Grinch the other day was more optimistic about Woody Washington making it back into getting to play this week, perhaps being one of 3 guys there on the corners. Can you address that issue and also Billy?
Yeah, Billy's doing well. I give him a lot of credit. With all the hits we've taken in the secondary depth this year, just so many kind of crazy, unpredictable things have happened, and it's really been centered on that position group as much as any on the team. We've had to have a few guys like him that have had to bounce around, play different positions. And it's not, for him personally as a true freshman, it's not really how you script it up. I mean, you'd love to, beginning of the year, the hope was you get him at one position, you let him settle in, focus on that one, and just grow in that position. And then typically as guys get later on in their careers, they're able to do a little bit more, as they've had a little bit more experience in college football in general and in that particular scheme. But Billy's been a trooper. I mean, he's played nickel, he's played safety, he's played corner. Pretty remarkable for a young guy. So continues to be a little bit of a jack of all trades. But no, I think a high confidence in him to play any of those right now, which is a big advantage for us. Yeah, Woody's done pretty good this week. We're cautiously optimistic. I mean, he came off a pretty serious thing, so I think the thing we're cognizant of is there's a difference between being able to do some drills on a practice field and being able to go play a full speed, high impact game on a Saturday. So he's doing some good things in the drills. He's doing some good things on the practice field. I do think he's close to being able to turn it loose, and so we're watching that. We're trying to, obviously we'd love to have him available this week. That's great if he is, but at the same time, you've got to keep some long-term perspective with the guy coming off a serious injury like he had. And so we're trying to be, obviously, we'd love to have him, but we're also trying to be smart for his future and certainly just the rest of the season because there's a lot of ball left after this Saturday.
With Brunt.
Yeah, Coach, Caleb's getting more and more attention nationally lately. He's worked his way into the Heisman conversation in a very short time. Your past quarterbacks have been a little bit older by the time they get this level of height. How is Caleb handling all that, and what do you do to keep him grounded given his youth?
I think he's handling it fine. I mean, it's, we try to really spend a lot of time here on, really focusing in on the things that are important and try not to spend a whole lot of time on the things that aren't. And, and so we visited some. But I watch him and, watch how he's handling things, watch how he's practicing, how he's doing in school. I mean, again, the things that really matter. And, I mean, he's continuing to just be himself and come to work and practice hard every day, get coached hard every day, and go back home and sleep and get up and do it again. So, I mean, it's kind of been business as normal here. So, that's, we as a program, obviously, as you said, aren't new to that. I get that Caleb's new, but I think he's, we kind of this whole team's attitude towards whether it's an individual or team stuff right now and stuff on the outside about the team. You just show up on Saturday and take care of business. All that other stuff takes care of itself. And that's been the focus of us with every individual player, and I would say with our program as a whole right now.
Yeah, Coach, real quick, you'd mentioned the fact that your absence wasn't football related. A lot of people were awfully concerned that it might be. Does it ever surprise you how much the slightest thing you do affects people? Like, was your phone blowing up? Did you hear the rumors or anything like that?
Nah, my mom texted me and asked if I was okay. That was about it. So nah, not really. I mean, I was here, working, doing my thing. So nah, not really. I'm kind of sheltered during the season. So I'm sure there's a good story I'll hear later on. But it was a lot more boring, I'm sure, than what's out there.
Barry Trammell.
Yeah, Lincoln, when you came into the Big 12 as a young student at Tech, Baylor football was not very good.
Yeah.
Was that way for a long time. But 3 times now, they built themselves back up. Art built a great program. They had their scandal. Matt Rule comes in. He builds them back up. He leaves, goes to the NFL. They have to retool. Now Dave Aranda has them 13th in the nation. What's happened at Baylor from an outsider's point of view? What's happened at Baylor to go from just the bottom of the Big 12 to no matter what happens, they're a consistently really good program?
Yeah, I mean, I think a couple of things. I mean, I think they've hired, here's of recent, some really good coaches. I think they've been, really good with their hires. As you said, Matt did a tremendous job. Dave's come in, done a great job. And honestly, they probably, if not for COVID last year, they had a better team than what their record showed. I mean, first year staff and all that coming in, I can't imagine. But they've done a great job. They've invested. They spent money. They built a new stadium. A beautiful stadium right there on the river. I mean, they've got really nice facilities. They're in a great location as far as recruiting. I mean, there's a lot of reasons why you look at it and say it should be a great job, and I think it took some momentum, and once they got the thing that they did, I think was really smart, is when they got some momentum and started winning some games, they pushed on the gas, man. Like they kept pushing it. They didn't sit there and, well, we're happy that we won some. Let's go build a new stadium. Let's go build new facilities. Let's go invest. Let's go, let's really push it. And I think they've benefited because of that. So you got to give them a lot of credit.
Get back to Ryan Aber.
Yeah, Lincoln, I wanted to follow up with something you mentioned earlier when John was asking you about Joey McGuire. You said that there's a lot of high school coaches who maybe deserve opportunities like that. Why do you think those don't come maybe as often? And I hope this makes sense, but is the leap from being a head coach in high school at a place like Cedar Hill or Jinx or Union or Allen, places like that, bigger or smaller than maybe the leap from being a position coach at this level to a head coach?
Well, that's a good question. Why don't enough guys get the opportunities? I mean, I think just because this business is so hard to break into. I mean, it doesn't matter if you're out of college and looking for your first GA job, trying to get your first position job. I mean, it's just there's just only so many spots, and I think the knock on the high school guys in the past, not that I agree with it, but I think the knock has been, maybe you've never been in college coaching, or you've never recruited, or, you've never done some of those things. Whereas you have people and candidates, available that have been in it. Not saying it's right. I don't agree with it, but it's just a tough business to break into no matter what level. And then when you start talking about a guy going straight to a position job or straight to a coordinator job or a head job, I mean, even tougher. Again, there's just not that many of them. And so I think, probably just the history and the kind of the previous job experience that a high school coach would have makes it tougher. It just does. Now, there's a lot of them that are qualified clearly that would be phenomenal coaches at any level. And there's, I think, a lot of guys that could do this at a high level, no question. The jump, yeah, I mean, I think running the program, some of the organization, a lot of that for a high school coach, there would be some differences, but you're obviously used to doing that at that level. The biggest change to me, for guys that coming straight from high school. I mean, the recruiting is a big difference. I think dealing with the media, the amount of media attention, whatever you want to say, pressure, expectations, whatever. And I listen, a lot of these guys, especially, talking about Joey in the state of Texas, and a lot of high school coaches all over the country have plenty of pressure too. When you're in college, these things play out on such a very public stage, everything, good and bad. It is different. So, but there's, like I said, there's plenty that deserve it. Not enough probably get them. It's, and if guys like Joey can, come in and do a really good job, it does nothing but open the door for more guys to maybe be able to get those opportunities.
Appreciate it, Lincoln.
Eric Bailey.
Lincoln, probably the easiest question you'll get today. It's a question I asked Porter Mosier earlier. Thanksgiving is coming up. What are you most thankful for?
Yeah, that's kind of crazy. It's coming up. Family first, for sure. Thankful I've got a great family to go home to. I'm thankful for a lot of things, man. My life's been, very blessed, been able to go to some great places, be at a place right now that I love. So I certainly recognize how fortunate that I've been. So, thankful for my family, thankful for the opportunity that I have to be here and be with a lot of great people. Those would definitely be 1 and 2 on the list.